This is what severe sleep apnea looks like. That's not snoring. I'm like choking. I can't breathe. See right there, I'm not breathing. Yep, then I finally do get a breath in, and that's when I wake up. That's sleep apnea, dude. That's a bad case of it. So my mom filmed that. That's right there in her living room. She said before that it was even louder, but she got the part where I woke up. Dude, that's classic sleep apnea right there. And that's a severe case. When I did my sleep study, they said I had a severe case to the part where I think they said like my heart even stopped a few times, like in 1 hour or whatever. That's really bad. So essentially what sleep apnea is, you know, a lot of people have it, especially a lot of people that are overweight, but skinny people have sleep apnea too. There's a big creator, Abba and Preach, the skinny dude, Abba, he has sleep apnea, right?
Today's topic, I die in my sleep because I have something called
bit more often.
sleep apnea.
And he's a skinny little thing, you know, he's a skinny ass dude. So essentially what most cases of sleep apnea are is when your tongue, right? So this is your airway, okay? And then your tongue, when you sleep, the muscles in your airway, like the muscles in your body, they fall asleep or they relax too. So your tongue, what happens is your tongue, it's sleeping, so your tongue, it, you know, falls to the back of your throat, blocking your airways. And that's what you were seeing. You were seeing my tongue pretty much like strangling me, like choking me, and my lungs and my insides and like my heart and everything is trying to, you know, get air past my tongue out of my throat. That's sleep apnea right there. And then eventually it gets so bad to the point where I skip a breath and what is it? Like carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide, one of those cannot get out of your lungs. And then when it finally does, like force itself out, you wake up. Some people don't wake up. A lot of people have passed away from sleep apnea. Sleep apnea can be very fatal. So what I do, I'm a truck driver, right? I drive trucks for a living. I don't know if you could see it, right? I got to sweep my floor. So when you have a CPAP machine, right? It sounds the same. Sleep apnea, CPAP. I keep mine right here in this little like cabinet area right next to my bed, because when you're using a CPAP machine, I guess, like I read the owner's manual or whatever the fuck, the instructions, and they said it's supposed to be just slightly lower than your bed, like on your nightstand or whatever. And so here's your nightstand, your CPAP machine, and you're supposed to be up a little bit for the machine to properly work. Okay, so essentially, this is how I sleep, right? Oh, goddamn. It's really not that bad. So, you hear how it's all crazy sounding right now? How it sounds like this is going to suffocate you? In the beginning, it felt like that, but it's really not that bad. Essentially, it's supposed to completely match your breathing pattern. It's going to be in sync with your lungs, like this. Okay, so the key to it, right? Like, I'm used to this thing right now, so I'm even used to sleeping with it a little loose. Sometimes, let me turn this off for a second. Okay, so I'm so used to this thing, right, that sometimes I intentionally sleep with it a little loose, so I kind of like the air on my face. It kind of like cools, like, I'm the type of person when I sleep, I need to be in a cold room, and I can't be somewhere where the heater's on. If there's a heater on, I'm not going to sleep, right? So this, it kind of blows cool air on my face, and I fall asleep better. But most people, what they need to do is, the trick to this is it has to be snug tight with your face, right? See that? See how it's a lot more quiet now? But if I loosen it up, I'm even used to sleeping it with it like that, right? But most people, they want to have a tight fit on their face. And that's how you sleep with your machine, right? That's the trick to it. So essentially you're sleeping like this. And that's pretty much it, right? And I'll show you the machine right now. So here's my CPAP machine. It is by ResMed. That's the manufacturer. I think there's iSleep. They also make it. It's great. Mine even comes with a humidifier, and you could put water up to the max level, and it keeps it from like being all dry and shit, you know? So the minimum air pressure is 4, and I got my max set to 14.4. It usually comes stock at 20 maximum air pressure. Now, if you want to lower your max air pressure, it comes stock at 20 max air. What you do is you hold the home button right here and this volume looking button. You hold them down at the same time, and you just keep holding them down. And now you're in clinical settings, right? This is when you could start fucking with shit that your doctor would fuck with. And you could lower the max pressure. Look, I'll up mine. You could lower it all the way down to, I think down to 4. How low could we go? How low can we go? How low can we go? Yeah, 4, right? I obviously want it higher than 4. Let's go back to where I had it, 14.8. That's fine. You got the full face mask. That's the one I got. Comfort settings, soft, ramp time off. I don't know what that is. I don't want to fuck around with a lot of this shit. The humidity. I turned up my humidity level. I think the humidity level was lower than that. I turned mine up all the way. I want a high humidity level, and then you just go back home or whatever. You know, eventually it goes back to the regular menu. The minimum air pressure is 4, and I think your doctor has to be the one to lower that. And 4 is pretty low, right? Sometimes I feel like it's too low, and the sleep apnea is still like going on. But dude, I've been sleeping like a baby since I got this thing. Since I've been using my machine right here, dude, like I said, the first night that I used this, I felt the difference. I actually felt like recharged. You know when you go to sleep and you wake up and you feel like you could win a boxing match or run a mile or whatever? That's how I felt. And honestly, since I felt that the first night I used this, it felt like I was suffocating. I didn't know how to use this thing properly, and I was new to it. So I was thinking like, damn, dude, this is going to be me for the rest of my life. Because if you lose weight, sometimes what happens is your tongue, it holds fat. Your tongue is another muscle, I guess, like the rest of your body, and your tongue stores a lot of fat. So if you gain weight, right, a lot of that fat is going to go to your tongue, which makes your tongue heavier, which makes it fall to the back of your throat, causing sleep apnea. And I don't know, sometimes that never goes away, even if you do lose weight. Some people just naturally have a bigger tongue and they have sleep apnea, and some people need to be on this machine for the rest of their life. And the first night I used this, I was like, dude, there's no way I could sleep like this. I can't even breathe with this fucking thing on. And then I researched on Google and YouTube, and everyone who was saying, yeah, if it feels like you're suffocating, it's because you got the thing on too loose and you need to have a tight fit on your face. And I was thinking like, dude, I gotta sleep like this forever? Like, what the fuck? And then the first night when I had a snug fit, right? When I had it like nice and snug on my face, dude, I felt the difference. And I was like, I instantly fell in love with this thing, right? I instantly was like, dude, where has this fucking thing been? right? For the past few years. I didn't know I had sleep apnea until I moved back to California, because since like 24 to about 29, I was living on my own. I wasn't living with family. And then once I moved back in with my mom, and then I moved back out and I was living in like Bakersfield in Southern California. But then when I moved back to her and I lived with my mom, like since to this day, her, my dad, and like my family, they all tell me like, oh dude, you snore really loud. You need to go get checked for sleep apnea. And the first night that, I'm telling you, dude, I felt a difference. What happens when you have sleep apnea is, yeah, you're asleep, but you're like half-ass asleep. Your lungs, your heart, your breathing, your throat, like, dude, everything is still working, and it's like working overtime. So it's like, just imagine you yourself being asleep, but your body is in the gym running a mile. That's why when you wake up and you have sleep apnea, especially if you have severe sleep apnea like me, you wake up, and even if you slept through the whole night, you still feel fatigued when you wake up. You don't feel like fresh. You don't wake up like, oh, man, I'm ready, like SpongeBob. No, you wake up and you probably want to go back to bed even though you slept the whole night. Or what usually happens with a lot of people, like what was happening with me, like the longer and longer I prolonged getting a sleep study and getting seen by a doctor. I got this through my job, right? A lot of trucking companies, my job, I didn't have to pay for nothing. I didn't have to pay for my sleep study. I didn't have to pay for my machine. I didn't have to pay to be seen by the doctor or nothing, dude. My job took care of everything, dude. And it's to the point now where I don't even know if I would like fly to New York because I have sleep apnea. If I fall asleep on the plane, one night after I got this machine and I didn't like it and I was trying to like fight it or whatever, and I came to work and I tried to like sleep right here in my bed, I kept choking. I kept waking up. It was to the point, especially after my mom showed me that video of me choking on the bed, dude, I was afraid to fall asleep. I was thinking like, dude, am I going to die in my sleep? I was scared. For real, I was fucking scared, dude, because all of that night or that morning, because I worked through the night, when I was trying to fall asleep in Eureka in my truck, my tongue wasn't allowing me to go to sleep. I was like this, just like that, dude. It was fucking scary. After that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going to figure out this CPAP machine. I'm going to figure it out because my life depends on it. Literally, dude, my health. So yeah, like when you have severe sleep apnea, you don't sleep. A lot of people, they get choppy sleep. If you live by yourself and you find yourself, say you go to sleep at 10 o'clock and you find yourself waking up at midnight or 1 in the morning, right? And then you're up. So you go to the kitchen and you get something to eat, or you might get up and you think it's just you having to go pee, right? You think like you're, you having a piss is the reason why you woke up in the middle of the night to get up and go to the bathroom. But then you go back to sleep and it's like 3:15 when you go back to sleep, and you wake up again at like 5 a.m. and you don't got to be up until 8. If you keep waking up through the night like that and you live on your own and you don't have anyone around to tell you, hey, you snore really loud, you should go get seen by a doctor, it sounds like you have sleep apnea. If you don't have anyone around you, like if you're not married, if you don't have kids, if you're a single dude like me and you were like living on your own like I was, you might not have anyone around to tell you that you have sleep apnea, dude. But if you find yourself during the day feeling tired, especially if you're a truck driver, if you find yourself during the day and you feel fatigued and you're like, dude, why am I always so tired? And then during your sleep, you keep catching yourself waking up in the middle of the night, you probably have sleep apnea, right? It's worth getting checked. Like I said, especially if you live alone, if you're the type of person that lives alone and you don't have roommates, you don't live with family, you just do it all by yourself, but you notice these signs, you notice that you keep waking up through the night and you feel fatigued during the day. And especially if you wake up during the night or in the morning when you do wake up and you have a dry throat and it feels like you've been coughing all night or whatever, that's usually you choking all night and your throat is dry. And sometimes you'll wake up and it feels like you're choking. You ever have those like sleep apnea dreams? I call them sleep apnea dreams, when it feels like you're falling. So if you ever have these dreams when it feels like you got pushed off of a building or you're falling from the top of a building, and that rush, you know, like you could feel your body like falling down the building and like, and then you wake up. That's usually from you choking, right? That's sleep apnea right there. That feeling of, and then you wake up like that. That's what I just showed you in the beginning of this video. That's me like getting that final breath out before I would have like possibly passed away in my sleep, you know? That and other dreams where it feels like someone's chasing you, where it feels, especially dreams where you feel like someone's choking you, those are what I like to call sleep apnea nightmare dreams. Those are dreams. So like I said, that one night when I was trying to fight it and I came to work and I left my machine at the house, when I did finally fall asleep after my tongue was like choking me out or whatever, I had this scary ass fucking dream. So at Supercuts, after you get a fade, they hit you with like a damp towel to kind of dry you off. So I had a dream that I was sitting at a kitchen table somewhere and someone came up from behind me and hit me with a damp towel. Like there was a damp towel that someone was rubbing on the back of my head like the barber, and then it slowly started going over the top of my head, over my face, and like choking me like this, like into my mouth and over my nose. And someone was like trying to suffocate me, and I had to fight them off of me. And then when I finally fought them off of me, I woke up like, that's sleep apnea, dude. That's a dream. That's your brain trying to tell you to wake up because you're choking. If you have scary dreams like that, if you wake up with a sore throat, if you have very choppy sleep, you probably have sleep apnea, and it's worth getting checked. Like I said, especially if you're the type of person that lives alone. I think it's like 80% of people who have sleep apnea don't know that they have the shit, you know? It's serious, man, because you could die from that shit. It's not a game, dude. It's not. So I'm a truck driver. So if you're diagnosed with sleep apnea, like say your old lady tells you, dude, you got sleep apnea, and you go and get checked, and the doctor knows that you have a commercial driver's license and you have sleep apnea, dude, the DOT can put you out of service for not using your CPAP machine. So right here at my job, the company itself can put me out of service because the doctors that gave me this, right, through like my healthcare plan or whatever, they're monitoring my machine and they're making sure that I'm compliant with it. Dude, I use it every night. Even if I'm taking a nap, I do not fuck around, dude. I do not sleep without this. But some people, they'll only use it for like 4 hours, and I guess that's still in compliance. But if you don't use your CPAP machine and you're a truck driver, if you're a Class A tractor trailer truck driver and you have sleep apnea and you have a machine and you don't use it, at my company, they could put me out of service, and eventually they'll just fire me if I don't have this. And I think they report it to the DOT, and then I'm pretty sure the DOT themselves can like pull my license, like they could take away my Class A. If you have sleep apnea and you have a CPAP machine and you don't use your machine, you can lose your license and you won't be a truck driver no more. So if you have this thing, it's in your best interest. It's in your best interest for your health to use it. But we don't need drivers that are fatigued out here on the road, right? We just don't need that shit. We got enough fucked up drivers on the road as is. If you have sleep apnea and you have your CPAP machine, you really need to use this, right? I mean, this is going to keep you from, well, I guess if you treat your body like shit, you could still have heart disease or whatever. But dude, sleep apnea causes high blood pressure, cardiovascular problems, dude. It's just all bad. Just use your fucking machine. Seriously, this shit is not a game, dude. It's so not a game. Guess with that being said, I think I hit everything on the head with sleep apnea. Be sure to smash the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get some thumbnail action in on this real quick before I end this video. Fuck, dude. I gotta go to bed. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.